Hey, it's Tim from AK Endless Sports Cards. Well, switched it up title-wise for this video because when you see the cards that I just picked up, you might just get a hankering for some double McGum. And on that note, I really miss Seinfeld. Three big topics, and then we're going to go to a couple pickups. One, was watching Neo Cards and Comics, one of his videos, and he had an update on from Beckett, BGS Grading Services. So the announcement that they had made was essentially that they're not going to change their grading scale. And, you know, I've seen them kind of get piled on in some different places, you know, looking up some comments online regarding the issue and stuff. But I actually think that's the best move for Beckett. I actually think that they should keep the grading scale. I don't think that's their big problem. And the reason why is I know people still like the BGS 10s and they really love the black labels. Controversies aside, yes, I know there's some controversies that have happened in the past with those black labels. However, people really like the 10s still, and people really are big fans of the black label. Here's the thing. If you don't have the subgrades, you can't differentiate between the two. So you got to leave the subgrades. I don't mind the Gem Mint. I really don't mind it because I like to know if I, have a gem card that's 3 9/5s and a 9 on the corners. I know what I'm looking for. And I can go ahead and take a look and I can kind of judge for myself. It's like, well, I mean, do these corners look like a 9? I mean, do they look better than that? I've seen Beckett cards that have been undergraded. I've seen Beckett cards that have been overgraded. I've seen PSA cards that have been undergraded, overgraded. Every grading service, I've basically seen undergraded cards and overgraded cards. I like the subgrades. To me, the biggest issue, the biggest mistake, if you will, that Beckett made as they plummeted from an industry leader to like 4th place, whatever they're in now, is when they offered a no sub service. So they offered a cheaper grading service before COVID where you could pay less. And I want to say, because my brother and I had sent in an order, it was like $12 a card for no subgrades. In hindsight, that was not a good decision to send those cards in and get them with no subgrades. However, I really think in hindsight also, though, that was a really bad decision. It's the subgrades that makes Beckett different. PSA doesn't have them. SGC doesn't have them. CGC doesn't have them. I applaud Beckett for making the right decision. The subgrades should stay. It's your advantage. You can argue about the quality of the grades, etc., but the subgrades at least narrow things down for you. And I think that's a big advantage that they have over a PSA. Now, their customer service, their turnaround times, some of the controversies, there were a lot of issues. There's a lot of issues, and they have a lot of ground to recover, and I don't know if they ever will. I had joked with some friends of mine that basically were just like, I would love to be like a consultant for Beckett because it seems like when they make bad decisions, you can really see them coming. I think they just need to talk to actual collectors before they make a decision and be like, hey, we're thinking about unveiling a new design at the National. We're going to put it on huge, print materials and so everybody can see it. Because when I saw that at the National, I'm like, ugh, that design looks rough. Why are you changing the design? That's not the problem. And then they had to backtrack and say, well, that actually, that wasn't the design. And maybe it wasn't. I don't know. But they had to backtrack on that because there was pushback. People didn't like the style. But lately, though, with this decision to keep the subgrades, I think that's a big win. But they got a lot of other issues to fix. And hey, BGS, if you're looking for a collector that you want to hire on as a consultant, hey, I'm one of the guys because there's a lot of problems that can be fixed relatively easy. Some of the bigger problems might be pretty tough. I'd like to see them make a recovery, though, because I like BGS. I'm still a fan. I'll still buy BGS cards. There's just not as many newer ones being graded in BGS slabs anymore. So that's the first piece. Actually, just two topics today. The second one, people are still really paying that 10 tax, that PSA 10 tax. If you're not familiar with that phrase, there is a big disparity value-wise between PSA 10s So cards that are graded a PSA 10 versus cards that are graded like a PSA 9 or PSA 8. I got what I believe to be a steal on a Victor Wembanyama rookie card that's really rare. It's in a PSA 8. And yes, I know new cards in an 8, that's normally a bad thing. But wait till I tell you the difference in price. So when we get to the cards, I'll share that with you and let me know what you think. If you haven't already, if you wouldn't mind subscribing to the channel and leave a like if you like the video, that would be great. I'm still continuing to look to grow the channel. I'm also starting to get really pumped to go to the National. It's already April, and that's going to be coming up relatively quick. So with that said, let's go ahead and take a look at the cards. All right, here we go. Just 2 cards. And this is where the double mint gum comes in. Okay, so first one, I got a 2022 Metal Universe Caleb Williams Precious Metal Gems Pink. This is not the same card that I had put in my last video. This is a different version. It's listed as a Metal Shredders. And it's graded a PSA 8.5, so 8.5. You don't see a lot of 8.5s. In all the cards that I've sent to PSA, and it's still a relatively small sample size, I've never received an 8.5. I really like this card. I have another PMG that I showed in the last video that was an 8. Really like these. I think these are really good deals. I think I paid, I don't know, 70 something for this. Seemed like a really good deal to me. It's numbered to 75 on the back. So last I checked, and this was a few days ago, this is a Pop 1. So there's only one of these graded by PSA. So Pop 1 card, 70-some dollars. Likely soon to be the #1 pick in the draft. I just think people have slept on these, and I think that they're rare. I think that by the end of the month, that could be a fairly big card. A lot more than $70 in my opinion. Second card that I got was a 2023 Prism Monopoly Victor Wembanyama Dice card. This is really cool in my opinion. Really, really cool card. This is, let me double check here. This is a Pop 5 of all grades. So listen, I got the ugly duckling of these cards. I have the only 8. The other 4 are 10s. However, I saw a 10 that sold for over $900. So $900 for a 10. I bought this for $240. And you know, I haven't looked at it like unbelievably close, but I did look at it and man, it looks really nice. The condition on this actually looks great. Now, PSA found something on it because it got an 8, maybe this corner, but I think that's just a little bit of extra paper. Look at that a little closer. Nah, it might be a little bit of a ding. Sometimes these corners have a little extra paper and you can still get 10s on those. 240 bucks. So to me, what would I rather have? Would I rather have the 10 at 900 or would I rather have the PSA 8 at 240? No brainer for me. I would not buy a 10 personally just because I don't want to pay the 10 tax. The 10 tax in that case between an 8 and a 10 is about 700 bucks. So that's a no for me. Not quite 700, but you get the idea. Really like these parallels. A really hard to find card. Raws of this I've seen sell for 500 bucks. You know? So this is just, I really felt like this is a really good deal. I'll take a closer look at that surface there. I'm not sure if that's on the plastic or I saw something on a certain reflection. I'll have to take a look at that. Really like the card though. It's pretty rare. You don't see a lot of them on the bay, and they definitely go for more. This was less than the price of the typical raw that has been selling. I'm thrilled with it. I love having it in a slab. I'm a believer in Wembanyama. I may be proven incorrect in the future, but I really enjoyed adding this one to my collection. It goes well with the black and white Monopoly Man PSA 9 that I showed in my last video. If you didn't get a chance to take a look at that last video, take a look. Take a look at the other precious metal gem that I got of Caleb Williams, and then the other Wembanyama PSA graded Monopoly parallel. Appreciate it, guys. Hope that everybody has a great rest of your week. And remember that the opportunities for collecting sports cards are endless.